Today's guest was the pianist, arranger, vocal coach, and associate musical director for American Idol for 16 seasons. Please welcome to the Zoom, Michael Orland. Hello!
Oh, I knew how to press start video. Aren't you impressed?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm so happy to see you.
I am so happy to see you. Thank you so much for doing this.
It's my pleasure to be here, and it's so funny because I feel like people only like that's my only credit, but it's really not.
Oh,
I
it's
am
not.
I am proud of my 16 seasons on American Idol because that was back when like people cared about it and watched it. Whatever, but I love it. I do love it.
Well, you've done so much, and we're going to get into all of it. We always start off behind the resume by talking about how we met. And you were the associate musical director on the Netflix movie The Prom,
That's right.
and
I was
I
like
was a dancer.
And it was like the most fun I had. I was only on it. I like was filling in for my buddy Mike Farrell,
Uh-huh.
and I was like just filling in. I was like a dance rehearsal pianist, and I had so much fun with the dancers on that show.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure you had that same experience, but like the leads that were in the dance room with us, they were so nice. I mean, I hate dropping names, but Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman were like the nicest people, and like you go, oh, that's why they're huge stars. Like
Yeah.
and just like to watch the work ethic, like you go, oh, that's why they are who they are. Like with
Mhm.
that work ethic and with that talent and that like personality and warmth, that's why they're who they are.
It's so inspiring.
It really is. Like, because you hear stories about a lot of those people along the way. Like when you work with famous people, you hear like, oh my God, you mean they were like nice? Yeah. I think it's all your, how you treat them is how
Mhm.
you get treated back. And so, because I've heard horror stories about a lot of people that I've worked with, I've never experienced anything. And I'm like, maybe it's the way you are with them.
Mhm.
I've never, I've only had amazing experiences with a lot of amazing, incredible artists.
And
So
you've worked with literally everybody on the
I've had some
planet.
biggies. I've had some biggies, and I've never had a bad experience with
Mm.
any artist ever. And I can say that like I'm looking at you straight in the eye. Well, I should look at the camera and say, I'm looking at you straight.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's
anyway,
probably
yeah.
a reflection on you and the energy that you put out.
We're in show business, like what we do. I mean, yes, it's hard, and yes, we have to do the work, and yes, we all have to have great work ethics. Like you
Mhm.
guys, listen, I did Radio City Christmas show for 13 years, and I always like marveled at what you the dancers, like I was like, how did those Rockettes learn a whole dance in one
Yeah.
day? And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there staring at the music, and because I can look at the music, but those ladies would be like, they would learn a dance in one day. And I always marveled how dancers
Mhm.
like could learn a whole routine in one day and like not be, looking at anything. You just have to remember a combination. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, how do you guys do that? And people like go, wow, I can't believe how you play. I said, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at the music. And it's
Oh.
like, you know what I mean? Like you guys do, like I marvel at what you do, but what we
Oh.
do is fun and love, and it gives people joy at watching what we do. It's like we're so lucky and fortunate, and I'm just like, we're so blessed to be doing what we do.
I
So
couldn't
I
agree
love
more.
to have fun with people. So when I work with anybody, it's all about the joy and it's all about like, let's do the work, but let's have fun doing it. And that was my attitude with all those kids on American Idol who were scared to death and who were going through, like, especially in the beginning, who didn't know what that show was. It's like, I'm here. I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to hold your hand when you cry. I'm going to make you laugh when you're stressed out, but we're going to get the work done. And that's why I'm friends with so many of the people that went through those doors today. It's because, I was there for them, and I wanted to make it lighter for them, and because it was so stressful.
Mhm.
And I treat
100%.
everybody like that I work with.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm so excited to hear your story. So let's just go from the very beginning. Where are you from?
Let's start at the very beginning. Oh my God, you didn't know I was gonna underscore art.
No, I know there's a piano there, of course.
Okay. So I'm originally from my mother, and then did anybody ever say that? I like to do stand-up comedy from a sitting position. Oh my God, I am like full of dad jokes. I can't even
I
help
love
it.
it. I
All
love
right.
it.
So I am from Massachusetts, and the story goes, when the movie Mary Poppins came out, probably before your parents were born. Oh my God, I'm sure I'm older than your parents. I think my grandmother or something, one of my grandmothers took me to see it, and I loved the movie. Then my mom and dad took me to see it, and my uncles took me to see it, my aunts, whatever. And my other grandmother took me to see it, and it was like my favorite movie. And I like sat down at this piano that I'm sitting at right now is one of the pianos I grew up playing. And then also my other grandmother's piano that she had given me when I was a kid. I played that piano and I just sat down and started playing by ear and just like, so I was just came home and started playing the piano
Wow.
when I was 3 years old.
3?
And I was 3. And so like,
Wow.
I was just like, tinkling around on it, whatever. So when I was 4, and I had seen the movie like 8 or 9 times. And when I was 4 years old, my mom took me to piano lessons, and Mrs. Shirley Siegel, may she rest in peace, said, "No, he's too young to start lessons." And the story goes like my mother was like, "Sit down," and I was like, I was like, I like started playing some of the music from it, and she's like, "Okay, we'll take him." And so, but
Wow.
the thing that I love now about it was like she did not want me to play any pop music, no show tunes, no nothing. She only taught classical. I'm glad I learned that way because at least for piano, I don't know if it's like this for dance, like if you learn like ballet or classical, like it's the
Right.
foundation for
Yeah.
everything. Classical music for pianists, I think, is like the foundation for everything. And then she
Mm.
said she thought you could play anything else. And I used to bring her my Barry Manilow books and my Billy Joel books and my Elton John books. And I'm like, can we please work on this? She's nope, you do it on your own time. We
Mm.
do, Mozart and Beethoven and
Yeah.
Brahms. And anyway, I took from her from kindergarten, the week before I started kindergarten, when I was still 4 years old,
Oh
until
my.
I graduated high school. And it was great. And my parents had to take me away from the piano to like do my homework. I loved it. I loved practicing. But here's the weird part. And I don't know if I would be any different with my kid, but my parents, when it was time to go to college, my parents were like, "Yeah, don't study music. That's not a definite field like you want to go into." And they're like, "What?" And I loved math. I think math and music are a thing up until like, with compute with banking online and all that stuff. I used to balance all my friends' checkbooks. They would come over and go,
Wow.
"Will you balance my checkbook for me?" And I would be like, "Do it." Like my friends would take me out to dinner. "Can you balance our checkbook?"
Uh-huh.
And because I love numbers and my accountant loves me. I bring him like the most detailed spreadsheet, like still to this day. But my parents were like, "Why don't you go to school to be an accountant?
Hmm.
And after tax season, you'll relax and you'll chill out by sitting at the piano and playing." And I thought, all right, whatever. But I was so passionate about music and piano, and I really did give it the old college try, no pun intended. I went to UMass for 2 years. I majored in accounting, and I literally just one day my head was not into it. My heart was not into it. I literally went to class one day. The teacher said something, and like I was like, "What?" I didn't even like hear what he said. I got up. I literally threw my book in the trash in the wastebasket, and I walked out. And I was like, "That was it." And
Oh.
that's literally how the story went. And I had a friend of mine who she had a brother who was like leaving New York for a year, and we sublet his apartment. It was
Uh-huh.
like $300 in the West Village for a studio apartment, and we were like, "We'll take it, we'll take it."
Uh-huh.
And I moved to New York. I had no money, and I didn't even tell my family I dropped out of
We
college.
need to go back. We need to go back.
Is
There's
this
there's
crazy?
crazy. Oh, wait, so you're 3 years old and you're a child prodigy. Where do you think this came from? Family?
Everybody in my family like played instruments. Like my
Okay.
mother and father could play a little piano. My grandmother Dorothy on my father's mother played some piano. My grandmother, my mother's father, he had a very similar story to mine. He played trumpet for a very famous society trumpet player, an orchestra leader called Eddie Duchin. He played trumpet for him, but when it came time to go to college, his parents said, "No more playing trumpet. You're going to school to be a pharmacist." And which is what my grandparents owned 6 drugstores. They had 6 kids. They wanted all their kids to be pharmacists. And that was how they were raised. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like, again, like I always think if I had kids, I don't know. I'd be scared for my kid to go into show business, but you know what? I work with kids today, and I acknowledge every parent that brings their kid over to me for I do vocal coaching, and I acknowledge every parent. I go, good for you. I say to the kid, you know how lucky you are that you have a parent that
Mm,
supports what you are passionate about.
yeah.
I mean, like I had it because my parents took me to piano lessons and paid for it, but when it was time to go into show business or into the arts, they did not support me. Now I love my family. And they're fine with me dropping out of school today, but they did not want me to do it. They wanted me to have a secure life, and they wanted me to have a paycheck and a roof over my head. I was passionate about only music. I didn't want to do anything else. And I tell that to kids today. I go, if you want to do music and music only, yes, you may have to have a job as a barista or a waiter. There's nothing wrong with that to pay the bills, but you have to stay passionate about whatever you want to do, arts, the being a dancer, being you might want to be a singer, and then you change your direction. Might want to be a set decorator or still something in the arts, but
Hmm.
you have to be passionate about it and keep learning and keep studying. This business is, I know I keep going ahead of myself, but this business is all who you know. And if you want to be in this business, you have to keep doing it and keep doing it. And if as soon as you lose that passion for it, don't stay in it. Don't stay in it. But
Hmm.
and I say to kids all the time, I go do master classes. I say, if you are not sure if you want to be a singer or maybe you want to go to law school, I say you should go to law school then. I only want you to be a singer if you only want to be a singer and nothing else.
Hmm.
I literally wanted to do music. I didn't care what I had to do. And I couldn't my heart was not in the accounting. I love math. I love it. I'm not kidding. I have the most anal records of every receipt I ever spend, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And during all those idle years, and even now, after we're done today, I will spend 8, 10, 12 hours at a piano, and I love every second of it. It's not work. And I'm blessed for that. But you have to love what you do, obviously, and you have to just know it's a timing game, especially today where it's so hard for people. It's really tough right now.
Hmm.
You just have to know it's what you need to do, and it's a timing thing, and it'll pay off. I tell kids today, I know we'll go back, but I tell kids today, keep going to those auditions, because even though when you're not right for something, that casting person is going to remember you and call you back for something. It's like, it's who you meet. It's who you meet. It's going to that audition that you're wrong for, but the casting director is going to go, "Oh, I'm going to call that girl again. She was so funny. She was so great." And that other thing, you know what I mean? You're going to get called back for something else.
Hmm.
So I literally I moved to New York. I was not in it. I couldn't do it. And I was like, I'll do whatever. And again, I was in the right place at the right time in New York City. I went with a friend of mine who I met by chance through another friend of mine, and we went into this piano bar because I was playing for her show, and the owner came up to me and said, "Oh, the pianist didn't show up tonight. Do you want to play until he gets here?" And I literally went in there. I had no money, and
Uh-huh.
I played for like 20 minutes. The guy shows up. He goes, "Finish playing for a little set, and we'll and my friend Amy, who I was playing piano for, passed the tip bowl around. I'm telling you, I had no money. She passed this tip bowl around while I played some music, and people
Uh-huh.
all were singing along.
Yeah.
I made $40, and I was like, "Holy crap! I just made $40 in a half
Uh-huh.
hour." Now I'm telling you, like, this is a lot. This is way before you were born. I feel so old right now. I just look good for my age.
You look amazing, but your story is incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I literally could have been an accountant right now instead, and been like saying, "I can't talk to you until April 16th. I'm sorry, I'm busy right now."
Do you think there's any world in which you would have not pursued music?
Like I said, it's all about passion. And that's why I was like, you have to, if you're passionate about it, I think there's nothing can stop you.
Mm.
That's why I want to encourage anybody who is passionate about the singing thing, the dancing thing, and like I said, your path might change as you're following it. You might go, wait a minute, what is this thing about what's the stage manager thing? Maybe I want
Hmm.
to do that now. You're still in the arts, you're still involved with it, or you go, wait a minute, I'm fascinated with this. What is this being a lighting director all about, or
Hmm.
being a sound person? You're still like in the arts and stuff. and or I mean, there's so many things in it, like that you're still like being creative, and
Mhm.
you're still you're not sitting, not that there's anything wrong with sitting behind a desk at all. I sit at a piano all day. It's not that there's any, I am not saying, finding fault with any of it. Some
Mhm.
people love doing that. It wasn't for me. That's why when because most of my students are between 7 and 17, and they all come over with their parent or guardian, and it makes my heart feel so good when I go, God bless you for supporting your kid in what they are so passionate about, and letting them figure out who they are and what they want to be, and who, what, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's so great. It's so great. And it costs money, and
Mhm.
it's so great. It's so great. I had that, but when it came down to it, and I help kids all the time with their college prep and their college auditions, and that's like a whole beast,
Mhm.
like auditioning for college. Where'd you go to school?
I didn't.
Oh, I love that even more. No, I love that even more. And you didn't go to school, and you're like working in the business. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm very fortunate to have parents who could not be more supportive
See,
of
that's
that.
everything. It's
Mhm. It
everything.
is. It is.
And then the kids that made it without their parents' support, that's even huge, more huge. But
Right.
who like had a fight not having that and still
Mhm.
making it, that's like really strong. But
Mhm.
the kids who have parents that are supportive, and like I didn't have it, but like I said, my parents are the most supportive people. And my dad calls me when he sees me on TV and
Mhm.
crying, he's like, I
Yeah.
just saw you on this and whatever. And it's really sweet. And my mom, emails 50 people every time I'm on, we just watched you on the Jennifer Hudson show. So proud of you, whatever. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
But I wish, and I always said to my parents, I said, if I don't get a job because I don't have a degree, I will go back to college.
Mhm.
That was like my thing to
It's
them.
always there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was like, I'll go back to school if I can't get a job because don't have a college degree, I'll go back.
And you're doing just fine.
I'm okay so far. I'm okay so far. Do they let
So,
seniors back in?
so growing up,
Yeah.
where did the love for music? Did you love theater? Did you love mainstream music?
It's so fun. I mean, I loved all the pop songs, and I loved music. I saw my first show when I was a kid. I went to my cousin Robin's high school in Worcester, Massachusetts, and they were doing a production of Guys and Dolls.
Uh-huh.
And I remember that was like the first album that I bought, and I was like obsessed with the show. And we had one of those this is gonna like tell you how old I am, and I keep talking about it. I'm not that old, but I'm old. I'm way older than you. But we had one of those stereos like that you lift the top up, and then there was a record player
Uh,
inside. And do you even know what a record is?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, good. Oh, thank God.
yeah.
My mom says I like literally like teethed on it. Like they were I like used to bite
Yeah.
on the record, like, and like my brother and sister would go outside and play with everybody. I stayed inside listening to records all day. I listened to my grandmother, Dorothy, gave me all her like old records, and I used to listen to them all. Like she had show tunes, she had like, all old standards and Great American Songbook.
Mm,
But I was really into like the people that played piano and sang, like Laura Nyro and Barry Manilow and Elton John and Billy Joel. Like I was so into all of them. But I loved show tunes. I always wanted, and like I used to bring the books all the time to Mrs. Siegel. I go, can we just work on Fiddler on the Roof this week? And
uh-huh.
I just want to learn the songs from Guys and Dolls. Nope. Nope. You do that on your own time. Now
Mm,
let me hear.
yeah. Did you go to traditional middle school and high school?
Yeah, I went to public school. We moved. My parents got divorced and my mom got remarried, and we moved in the middle of like my sophomore year. And there was some that would say that was traumatic for me, but I must have blocked it out and never
Mm,
dealt with it in therapy. So, but I'm okay with it.
yeah. And you had this outlet, it sounds like your
Oh, I
whole life.
totally did. Oh, I'm sure. Like I took it all out on music and whatever. But you know what? I don't think it affected me, but I mean, maybe a therapist would have a field day with me if I ever laid down it and opened up to it.
In school, did you feel understood by your classmates as someone with like passion just bursting out of your veins?
Here's what's so funny. I didn't have a lot of friends in school. In high school, when all the girls found out I played piano, and then
Mhm.
I was like the most popular kid in high school. Totally the most popular kid. And then when we moved, I had enough credits to graduate early in my
Mhm.
senior year, but my mother was like, "You're not going to graduate early because you're not going to just hang out and do nothing, and if you're not going to college early." And so I just like took BS courses to like fill the time, and one of them was typing. And so my typing teacher was like, "We've never had a boy or a girl that could type 94 words a minute. We'd like to give you an award." And I was like, "No, please don't. I'll get beat up. I don't want to be the." I was like,
Award,
"No,
an
thank you."
award for typing?
Yeah, for the fastest typer in the school. I was like, "Thank you anyway. Don't need."
That's pretty funny.
Oh, was like, "Thank you anyway, Miss typing teacher." I don't remember her name. Pretty crazy, but yeah. So I did not have a lot of friends at all. And then when I went to high school, every girl like was like, "Will you play for me in the talent show?" And then I
Oh.
started doing, playing for the high school musicals
Mhm.
and doing all that, and I was really popular. But moving in the middle of like I think it was my sophomore junior year, it was really hard. I'm gonna say, but and it's so funny because it's probably why when I go on Zoom, I sit behind my piano.
Mhm.
I am so socially awkward at parties and
Mhm.
things when I'm not at my piano. But
Mhm.
when I'm sitting behind my piano, I am 100%. I just realized that's why I do this. What if I do that? What if I just figured something out about myself on your show?
I love it. I love it so much.
I'm sorry, I'm about to drop a name, but if did you ever watch The Golden Girls?
No.
Like the sitcom, the old sitcom, The Golden Girls with the four old ladies. Anyway,
No.
there was a woman on there, Sophia, she would play the mother, Estelle Getty was her name, and she was one of my best friends when I first moved here. And I used to go to like some parties with her, and she used to go, she used to go, "I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right out." I'm like, "Don't go to well, you don't leave me here alone." I was like so socially
Uh-huh.
awkward. I'm like, "I'm standing right outside the bathroom door for you. Hurry up, hurry up." But now if I had to sit and play piano at somebody's party, I was fine. It's
Yeah.
really it's an issue. I'm so much more comfortable. If somebody comes up to me at a party and I'm sitting playing piano, I can have a whole conversation. But I'm awkward. I'm just socially
Wait, you can be
awkward.
playing and having a conversation at the same time?
Totally, 100%.
Wow.
Oh, I could play piano right now and not miss a note and talk to you. It's like seriously, like I think it's from like playing piano in piano bars, like in New York City before I moved to LA. And
Mhm.
I used to do that all the time. And I used to just like have full conversations with people. That was like in the old days. And literally learned to listen to people's conversation while I was playing. Like I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh. Like I heard everything. So many things that have happened to me is because I was just at the right place at the right time, or because I knew someone, or
Mm.
because somebody told someone, "Oh, you should try Michael. He's great," or whatever, or
Mhm.
or someone couldn't do a job. They were like, "Oh, you have to call Michael Orland," and it's like
Right.
that's how so many things have happened. I mean, like it's just because somebody recommended me for
Yeah.
something, or it's that's how everything in this business is to me.
I really believe that the universe rewards us when we commit to our purposes and our passions. And
Oh,
it's so
100%.
clear that you have so much um God-given gifts for music and art. And so it makes complete
Right.
sense that you've had so many incredible experiences from, someone referring you or being in the right place at the right time. It makes total sense to me.
Right. And I also think like a lot of not just being in the right place, right time, but you also people have to know that like you are fun to be with and that
Mhm.
you're going to be, like that you're going to be, like I tell people that like when they go into auditions, don't give the pianist a hard time. Like
Mhm.
they have to know that, and like the people behind the desk are watching you. They have to know that they're going to spend the next 3 months with you and that you're going to be fun and that you're going to be easy to work with.
Yeah.
Like I've had people like really like I've had somebody like throw music at me because they're so busy schmoozing with the people behind the desk.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
and I always tell people like, don't schmooze with everybody. Just go in there, do your thing. If you want to schmooze, like the person you want to schmooze with, they'll come schmooze with you. Don't you be the initiator. Like like it's all stuff like that. it's stuff like that. And like I happen to love playing auditions so much. I
Mm,
love it. But it's an art. It's an art, and not everybody does. And I've heard some pianists that are not great, and there's
mhm,
whatever. So but it's just, you have to just know that the pianist is the only one, like a singer or dancer has to be friendly with it in the audition, not even be friendly, just be like, here's how my song goes, ba ba ba, and then go. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like, and I'll give you a nod when I'm ready. Thank you. Like you have to
mhm.
say that, like that's it. There's like
Mm.
some really fun, simple rules.
Yeah. Growing up and loving music, who were your musical inspirations? And when you thought about when you were younger, did you think about a career in music and what that could look like?
Oh my God, I totally wanted to be Barry Manilow, Richard, the Carpenters, like I
Mhm,
totally wanted to be that. I totally thought I was going to be only music. Like
mhm,
I never even thought about accounting. My family is the one that introduced that to me. I literally had visions of, being Barry Manilow on stage, and Elton John, and Billy Joel. Like those three were like I wanted to sit on a stage, and although I wouldn't do it now, but I'm like, because I'm people I work with, I've like sung harmonies with and stuff, but I am not comfortable singing lead. Like I don't want to sing a solo in front of,
mhm.
unless it's maybe a huge theater so I don't see people. Like when I traveled sometimes with Kristen Chenoweth, she'll make me sing, and I'm like, hate. But it's a big, huge theater, so I can't see anybody, so it's not as bad. It's it's hard, but I love playing for people, and I always pictured myself doing that, always, 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 since I was a little kid. Just to take that detour. Like I always think like there are no accidents in timing, so I don't even feel like even those years I did in college for 2 years, like studying accounting, I don't even think like, I don't look at that as a waste. I mean, do I regret not going to music school once in a while? Because a lot of the music things I learned were all self-taught.
Mm,
Or like I would ask a buddy, like, can you show me how to do that? Or, you know what I mean? Or I've had people teach me, like, can you show me how to do Sibelius and write out the charts? Like I had to have somebody teach me how to do that, where I could have learned it in school, but
mm.
I didn't. But so, everything I taught myself. But I don't regret wasting those 2 years in college that I didn't do anything with. Do you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
just feel like, again, there are no accidents. I think it's all a timing thing, and I just think my path was supposed to go that way, and I'm not unhappy with how it it is turning out. I don't want to say it turned out, because I still want more, and I think as long as we all continue to want more, we're not done. Do you know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like I still want a lot of things, and
mm,
I'm writing with I have a little Disney girl that I write with right now, that she's got a song that's out doing really
mhm,
well, and another this young 16 or 17-year-old boy that has a song that's like getting a lot of attention right now, and it's great. And I love, coaching people, but I did totally want to be the new Barry Manilow and the new Elton John and the new Billy Joel all rolled into one.
Throughout your career, have you had an "I made it" moment or experience?
Well, it's so funny because, I worked with Barry Manilow for a minute. Barry is like definitely my biggest, 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 biggest musical
Oh.
idol. And
Mm.
so when I was working with the singer a long time ago, Sam Harris, he was with Barry's management company. And so Barry came to see us doing a show. We were at the Hollywood Roosevelt, and he came to see us. And it was right soon after that that he actually hired me to be a rehearsal pianist for one of his
Wow.
tours. And I was like beside myself.
Uh-huh.
And it was actually through Barry, because the people, this is again, it's like a where you are being at the right place at the right time. One of the Barry's background singers, Deborah, and Barry's conductor at the time, Kevin, were the music team on season 1 of American Idol. And they are the ones years later that called me in to come help for one day.
Wow.
So like
So
it's like
oh my
so so
gosh.
I mean, like, see, that's how it all even happened. So even when I run into Barry Manilow and I'd
Mhm.
see him over the years, I was in Palm Springs recently, and he came to a show of mine, and I said, every time I see him, I go, it's because of you, that my life changed indirectly because of you. And so he's
Wow.
always like, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's so sweet, but not really. But it is because of like me working with him
Mm,
and Deborah and Kevin meeting me because of Barry,
mhm.
that they called me in to help out for one day and I stayed for 16 years. Do you know what I mean? That's like where like being at the right place at the right time happens. And
But also following your heart, not to be cheesy,
totally,
but this is
totally.
your biggest inspiration, and look where that led. That's incredible.
100%. No, I mean, he was my freaking idol. I know every freaking Barry Manilow song. I could play you now. I've seen his show so many times, and every time I see him, as a matter of fact, I've been doing this open mic, and I do it every month. I was doing it here in LA at this
Mhm.
beautiful place called Vitello's, but they just closed the room. But we're
Oh,
looking for a new spot. The people that run that room are looking for a new spot for me in LA.
okay.
But I do it once a month in Palm Springs, the first Thursday of every month. And now I'm going to be starting February 8th at this new place in Vegas.
Oh,
And so I'm so excited. I love doing it. And a lot of my students come out, and I know a lot of singers out in Vegas too. And it's just been so much fun. I love doing it.
oh,
It's just like,
cool.
get up and do a song. You don't
Yeah.
need to rehearse. You just bring your music or don't bring your music. I don't care. I know a lot of songs and we'll just fake it.
Uh-huh.
And it's been so much fun, and I love doing it more than anything. And so that's going to be really fun. And I love doing it. I really love it.
Are you ever nervous when you're playing new music at an audition, or you're just given music to play, that you're gonna mess up, or no?
At auditions, there are some songs, but I have learned to be honest with an auditionee now, and I'll be like, okay, so this Jason Robert Brown song, I
Mhm.
don't really know. Do
Mhm.
you want to see if there's something else, or I'm gonna just do my best on it? Like there are
Yeah.
some songs I would tell people, although Jason Robert Brown is at least, I love his music because the ones I know, I'm obsessed with.
Mhm.
The ones I don't know, some of them scare me as an audition pianist, and some of them are great because at least they have chords written over them. So it's like easier to
Mhm.
catch. But there are definitely, I worked on a song yesterday. I forgot who it was by, and it was a little scary because it went so quick and there were so many notes and there were no chords. I tell singers, those are the ones that you should like either A, bring your own pianist to, or like you should B, hire somebody to at least just write chords over it so it's
Yeah.
not so tough. Because there are a lot of not great audition pianists out there, and
Mhm.
they'll just mess you up. And I'll say to somebody, I will read this and do it with you, but do you want to find a better song that I can really support you and make you sound great? And I'll give them the option. If they say no, we want to do it, I go, let's do it. Come on, I'm with you. But
Mhm.
there are definitely some specific songs that scare me.
Mm. Have there been moments where you haven't worked? And in those moments, how do you keep a good mindset about moving forward? Because, in this industry, you have no idea when, like you said, American Idol was a one-day thing that turned to 16 years. So
Right.
how do you handle the stability or lack of stability in this career path?
My friend Mary calls it I forgot what she calls. Oh my God, she calls it self-employed mentality or something, but
Mhm.
where you like literally, and it's not always a good thing. You say yes to everything because you don't know when the next job is coming. And I've been so lucky because I haven't had those lulls.
Mm.
And sometimes when I do have them, I love them so much. Like when I actually get a whole day, I don't work because I usually work 7 days. Because a lot of people are like, oh my God, the only time I can meet is
Yeah.
Sunday. Can you do Sunday? And I'm like, okay, I'm not good with I'm not working this Saturday and Sunday. Like
Mhm.
my best friend in the world, Celeste Simone, who is the greatest voice teacher in the world, she's really good about, I'm not working on this Saturday and Sunday. I'm not booking any students. And I'm like, I'm so jealous because I don't really do that because I don't want to say no to anybody. But
Mhm.
I've been really blessed. I'm knocking on my wooden piano to not have a lull. I'll tell you though, it did get a hair scary, of course, at the beginning of the pandemic. I had a lot of concert dates that, of course, all got canceled. But I have a brilliant man that helps me with my social media.
Mhm.
His name is Caesar, And he is the one that came up with me. Like, you started doing this at the pandemic. He started doing with me, like, I started doing these Instagram
Mhm.
live shows,
Mhm.
and I got like a lot of like past idols, and I did them for like over a year, including Paula Abdul and a ton of the idol kids, including a
Yeah.
bunch of winners. And I just did these Thursday live shows. It got me a lot of like people texting me, messaging me on there going, "Hey, I want to start lessons with you." And
Oh,
it got
wow.
me I started doing so many Zoom and FaceTime sessions, and
Mm.
which I continue to do now. I mean, I'm in person with people who are local, but at least, I mean, all my sessions today are all on Zoom
Mhm.
and FaceTime, after we're done here. But I mean, like, everybody, it's like, because I get to work with people all over the country, and I have a few in the UK and even one
Wow.
in Australia. It's, of course, way easier in person because
Mhm.
of the little time lapse, especially musically. But I haven't had that lapse. And so once in a while, it does feel good when someone calls you and says, "Oh, can you play auditions, from 2:30 to 6? We don't have a big budget, but can you do it?" And
Mhm.
it does feel good to say, "I'm so sorry, I'm not available," because I'm not, as
Mhm.
opposed to going, "Wait, let me move around people," which is what I would normally do. Let me just
Right.
move people so I can do that. And I do say no once in a while, and it actually feels good. It actually feels good. I just had this conversation with Kristen Chenoweth the other night at her apartment. We were in New York because she's learning to balance like that work and life thing where where you can like have have a nice life and do all the work still. Like, we have that in common where we just like work, 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 work. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, we have to enjoy a little lifetime too. But
Mm.
I'm like her. I don't, because I'm just here with the dog and like whatever. She doesn't mind. Jinx doesn't. My dog Jinx doesn't mind if I keep working. But yeah, it actually feels good once in a while to say no. But I have been so fortunate. You hear me knocking on wood on this,
Yeah.
to keep working.
Yeah.
We're so blessed and lucky, and
Mm.
but I'm not going to do anything this Sunday. No, I have to, because I'm leaving on January 31st, and I'm going to be gone for like 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm literally so booked up every day till I leave.
Wow. How did you meet Kristen Chenoweth?
I met her a long time ago. Oh, okay. So here's how I met Kristen and Adina both. I went to a preview of Wicked when it first opened, and my dear friend Stephen Aremus, who's the brilliant musical director, arranger, songwriter, everything, he was the conductor, and he's like, "I want you to meet Adina and Kristen." And so I went to Kristen's room, and I didn't know this, but she was obsessed with American Idol at the time.
Oh
And so
my
he goes,
gosh.
"Oh my God, I know who you are. You're the pianist that's always in the rehearsal scenes with everybody. Oh my God, oh my God." So I loved her immediately. And then I met Adina. She came out to LA a couple times, like she had to do something on the Tonight Show, and she
Mhm.
asked me if I would play with her. And so I did something with her, and then she was out here for a while, years later, and she had to rehearse this like opera thing, and I did that. And then we did Hairspray Live together. And
Mhm.
then her regular music director, Mary Mitchell Campbell, who she's been with for like over 20 years, who's like one of the most brilliant musical directors in New York. She is like the busiest
Mm.
conductor in the world. She had all these things coming up. So she asked me if I would fill in. She said she needed to take some time off. So Kristen asked me if I would go out on the road with her. So I did like a year of dates with her. We
Wow.
had the greatest time ever. So I
Uh-huh.
toured with her forever. And now I just fill in whenever Mary Mitchell can't do it. But I was in New York last week, and she's like, "Come over. I haven't seen you in forever." So I just literally went over to her house. We hung out. We had a little dinner.
It's so
I
cool.
said, "Before I leave, we have to sit around the piano for one song you have to sing." It turned into 2 hours, and
Of course. Of
we had the
course.
best time. We had the best time. But that's how I met her back when she was doing Wicked, when she was
Wow.
doing, uh, uh,
Oh, so cool.
yeah, so it's great. It's great. And I've been so lucky with all the people I've met, and this one meets that one, and that one, it
Mhm.
just turns into a big parade. I teach every year. She does a big Broadway boot camp that
Uh-huh.
is amazing in her hometown of Broken Arrow,
Mhm.
and it's opened up this year to worldwide, and incredible. It's incredible. She gives so much back to kids all over America, and it was one of the most incredible experiences working at her camp every year.
Mhm.
So that was really fun. And this year it was run by Kenny Ortega.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh my God. And they filmed it for a documentary, which is
Uh-huh.
amazing.
I
Oh my
can't
God. And
wait.
Kenny Ortega is just the best. The best.
Well, I have to say about Hairspray Live, I am such a fan of that production to the point where I have this huge vision board wall above my desk in my room, and I have the Hairspray Live photo with the whole cast on
No
my
way.
wall
Oh my God.
because I love it.
I
It
loved
was
that so much.
so, and that cast,
That was the
oh
best
my,
9 weeks of my life. That was the
really?
best 9 weeks. I mean, with Ariana Grande and Dove Cameron and Maddie Bailio and I mean everybody in it, Derek Huff, and I mean everybody. It was like killer. It was a killer cast.
Were you the vocal coach on that?
No, I was like just the assistant music director, but it
Okay.
was associate music director. It was so, but I played rehearsals every day with everybody.
Oh,
It was the best. And I had already worked with Ariana before, but I had not met Dove, and her agent is a friend of mine. And she kept trying to hook me up to meet with Dove. And so I
mhm,
finally got to meet her. But I had I and Maddie I fell in love with.
mhm.
I mean, just unbelievable. Most of the other people I had worked with, but it was the greatest experience. It was a family filled with love. And of course, Jennifer Hudson, I had known since Idol.
What
Just,
was the energy like in those rehearsal rooms?
so filled with love. And I guess like on the live thing, there was like some technical things or whatever, but a couple of people were like, oh, it's like this. And
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was
it
so
was the
incredible.
best thing. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I can't even tell you. And then Ricky Lake was there, and Marissa Winokur was there, and Rosie O'Donnell was there. And oh my God, it was unbelievable. And Sean Hayes.
Do you have any fun behind the scenes stories from that process?
I just remember hanging out in Kristen's room with everybody, and everyone was just like, just everybody just had the best time. And I remember when it was over, I went up to hug Maddie, and everybody was like, and, she was crying because she
Yeah.
just did so great, and we didn't know we were on TV, so like the credits
Oh,
were rolling, and I was hugging her, and she's like, God, I love that girl so much. And Garrett Clayton, I had worked with him many times before. I mean, everybody in it is just and Derek Huff.
hmm.
I mean, it's amazing.
Do you get starstruck?
I get starstruck. I love Ariana Grande so much. I did a show with her like right before she got huge, and every
Oh,
day
really? What show?
we do these English pantos every year, and right before she got huge,
Yeah,
huge, huge.
yeah, at the Laguna Playhouse.
Yeah, well, we didn't. I never did the ones at Laguna, which I know they just did one with the Olivia Sanabia.
Yeah, so she's a friend of mine. Do you know
What?
Olivia?
I love Olivia.
I love Olivia. So Olivia was on Behind the Resume, and
No,
I went and saw her in the Panto. She was incredible. I actually hung out with her the other week. But how do you know Olivia?
because she was in one of the pantos I did in Pasadena.
Oh my gosh, was it when she was Snow White?
Yes,
Amazing. I didn't know
yes.
her at that time. We've just recently become friends, but
I
she's
love her
the
so much.
best. Yeah.
I just helped her. She just did also like a Christmas parade, and I helped her with all her music that she had to sing in this
Oh,
on a
I
booth.
didn't
Like
know
she
you
was
knew
on a
her. So funny.
such a small world, right?
Yes, such a
That's the
small
other
world.
thing. I'm like, you have to be nice to everybody because everybody knows everybody. But
Hmm.
Olivia Sanabia, I love her so much. You have to
Hmm.
tell her later that we know each other too.
I will. I will text her right after this.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I freaking love her. And yeah, so I'm sure she was perfect in Wizard of
She
Oz.
was. She was.
I love her, but I've never they do like the shows there, and they do them at Pasadena Civic Auditorium, which I've only done the ones in Pasadena, and then they
Mhm.
always have a second company. But since the pandemic, they haven't done the Pasadena ones. Hopefully, we'll start up again. But we've had Olivia Sanaba, we've had Kenzie. I mean,
Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter did
Uh,
one. Olivia Holt did one.
uh,
Um, Ariana Grande did Sleeping. I mean, not Sleeping Beauty. She did. Oh God, it's online too. She did. Not Sleeping Beauty. Snow White. She did
okay.
Snow White, and so great, so great. She was amazing. She was
Mm,
amazing. Just a freaking star. A freaking
yeah.
star. I mean, like you could tell back then. It was right before she had like her first huge hit, and
Mhm.
kids were like lined up outside the theater, before, waiting for her. And it was she'd already had her TV
Yeah,
show.
I mean, I was a huge fan of Victorious.
Yeah, that was it. And so, I mean, I just love that girl. And then when we did Hairspray Live, she was just the sweetest. I remember
Mm.
having to teach her and Jennifer Hudson that big closing song they wrote for them, and it was
Uh-huh.
so much fun. So much fun.
Is there someone that you haven't met that you would be really starstruck over if you were to meet them?
I think, the only you're gonna laugh at this because it's somebody older, but well, first of all, I mean, like I love SZA, I love
Yeah.
I'd be totally into meeting there's a lot of like current artists I'd be
Mhm.
totally and down for meeting, but I was also always obsessed with Cher. I would love to like
Oh.
not just meet her, but like hang out with her.
Yeah.
I mean, like I got to meet Oprah Winfrey because I got to do her show when like in the height of Idol, we did her
Mhm.
show, and then she came to Idol and did a thing from her show. So I got to do that. But I'm trying to think of who else. There's definitely like people I would love to meet. I'm trying to think. Pink, I'm obsessed with Pink.
Mhm.
Um, I'm sure there's many people I'm dying to meet, but I can't think of it. I got to work with Burt Bacharach, who's like one of my musical idols.
Mm.
There's definitely a lot of people, but I mean, I've gotten to meet so many of them. I've been so blessed and lucky, and
Yeah.
I still get very starstruck. I mean, even like when I see these people that I know and I'm friends with, I'm like,
Yeah.
and so it's
Isn't it
really,
so cool though when you're kind of like starstruck over your friends?
yeah, no, it's so great when I see them do something great or when something great happens for them. I get so excited.
Yeah.
And even more exciting when I can text them and go, I'm so happy
Yeah.
for you.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So in the prom rehearsal rooms, I mean, because like that cast was
Insane.
stacked crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. Did
But
you get to work?
that was a great experience for you, right? I mean, those you guys just had to have the time of your
Oh my
life.
God. I mean, I still honestly don't fully believe that it happened. You know? Like it's so wild.
I see. Now, I loved that movie so much. I've watched it so many times,
Mm.
and I loved Meryl Streep so much. And for her to come in there and like know everybody's name and say, "Good morning, Michael. Good morning, so and so." I mean, like, that's just like unbelievable to me.
Mm.
And and I had worked with Nicole's husband, Keith Urban, for many
Mm.
years on Idol.
Mhm.
And so I didn't really know her. I met her like maybe one time in passing. So I reminded her and she was so warm immediately. But a funny story with Keith and Nicole. I was one night I was at what's her big the musical that she was in the movie of?
Oh, Moulin Rouge?
Yeah, I was at Moulin Rouge in New York.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to enjoy it, but there was a girl sitting next to me singing along
Oh no.
every song, and I wanted to go, yeah, this is not a TV. At intermission, I hear like everybody's like clapping and taking pictures of somebody. And so I turn around and it's Keith and Nicole.
Was this
Um,
recent?
no, this was like, no, it was like at least before the pandemic, right
Oh,
before
okay.
the
Okay.
pandemic.
Because I think
And
she
so,
recently went to see Music Man and it was like the same thing that happened.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She went to the closing night of Music
Mm.
Man, closing day. Yeah. So this was right before the pandemic. And so I'm sitting there and so they turn around, I turn around and I see Keith and Nicole, and that's where everyone was looking at.
Uh-huh.
So I stood up and I blew a kiss to Keith and he stood up and and he went and he like went, Michael. And he literally I sat back down and 2 seconds later, he had come around to give me a hug, and like
Oh.
the girl next to me was like freaking out. But I mean, how sweet is that?
Yeah.
That like the sweetest.
Mhm.
He is the nicest guy in show business, and
Mm.
so is Jennifer Lopez. By the way,
Mm.
people ask me all the time, favorite judge on American Idol, Paula Abdul, the greatest, the sweetest, the nicest, the most supportive, the most loving, the most down to earth.
I love that. If your 15-year-old self could see you now, what do you think he'd say?
Oh, wow. Jeez. He would say, um, eat more carbs. No, I'm kidding. He would say, don't eat so much so you don't have to like be worrying about a diet in 4 years. Oh my God, that's so crazy. Oh God. You know what? I would tell the 15-year-old would say, stop worrying about so much SHIT
Mm,
and enjoy life more because so much of it didn't count. I'd love to go back and take all those airplane trips when I was in my 20s and 30s that I worried about landing safely all the time. And I spent so much time worrying that all were fine.
mhm,
And now I don't think about it because I just go, it's not my time. I'm just gonna just get over it. I'm gonna breathe. Just breathe out negative thoughts when I have them about anything. I
mhm.
would love to tell I'd love to have the 15-year-old boy say to myself, stop worrying about stuff that doesn't matter. You just stop. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? Because I do that, and I work on it every day.
mm.
But so much of stuff that we worry about, it's like sweating the small stuff. It's like it's not worth it. It's not worth it. There's so much more in life that is important, and I just want to concentrate on that.
Do you think that if your 15-year-old self could see the career that you have now and the life that you have now, he would be not surprised, but do you think he would be like, "Yeah, that's what I knew all along was my path?"
I think so. I think so. I think that I think like this is more what that 15-year-old boy dreamt
Mhm.
about, and not like if I was sitting behind a desk doing your taxes.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't ever dreamt of that when I was 15. And
Right.
so I think so. I think that boy would be happy for sure.
You honor your inner child so much through your work, which I
Oh,
think is
definitely,
so
definitely,
beautiful.
definitely.
What would you say is your motto for life and your career, which probably intertwine?
I don't know if I practice this to the fullest every day, but I really do try to, I try to let go of the negative stuff and just live life to its fullest because, and like I said, it's an everyday struggle to do that, but I really do try to do it more and more every day. Cause you know what? Life really is, I sound like an old man right now when I say this, but life is really short
Mm,
and things happen and we can't get back time and we lose friends and family and you can't go back and you can't get time back with those people. And I just think you got to live life to its fullest because we don't ever know when it's over.
mm.
And again, I hate that I sound so old right now, but
No.
I really, you got to let go of some of that stuff and just live and
Yeah.
just, I don't want to fear stuff. I just want to live
Mm.
life and just be creative and just be who you are.
It sounds like that's the life that you lead.
It really is, and I'm getting better and better every day at it.
Yeah. It is such a blessing to be born with such passion. I mean, at 3 years old, you're a piano prodigy. Do you
I
think
Yeah.
that level of passion, how much do you think of that is like nature versus nurture?
I think so much of it is like you are born with it. I think you are born with it for sure. And I think that because like I see, sorry to drop more names, but I see my friend Catherine McPhee and David Foster's kid. He's not even 2 years old, and you should see this boy playing drums. You
Mm,
cannot believe he's 22 or 23 months old. Oh, he's like 23 months old now. He's born 222. You've never seen a kid play drums like this, the way he holds his hands, the way he does
mm,
drum fills. You have to be born with that. I mean,
yeah,
like, how do you explain that?
right.
Never had a drum lesson. He's watched his father's drummer on the road, but I think it's something you're born with. And I like, how did I play the piano before I had a lesson? Like,
Mhm.
how did I figure out like where, like how to go, I don't know. So I think it's like a God-given gift.
Yeah.
And mine wasn't nurtured for at least a year before before I showed signs of having that gift. So
Yeah.
I think like when I see kids like that, or like when you see kids on YouTube, I saw this little boy that a friend of mine who's just signed as an agent just signed this kid who sings in the back of his father's car like all these show
I
tunes.
saw that. Yeah.
You see that little
Yeah.
kid?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the? She just texted me and asked if I would give him some lessons because they're
Wow.
like reaching out. I know the kid is just like natural, like that.
Mhm.
He's never had a lesson. He just sings like he's a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
So like I think those are like gotta be God-given gifts that they're GGGs, we call them.
At this point in your life, what are the career goals and what are the life goals?
The life goals are like to stay happy and healthy for
Mhm.
sure. Those are the life goals, health and happiness.
Mhm.
The career goals, I still want so much more. I would like to have some, I just want, well, I want to just keep working because I don't see myself ever retiring because I
Mhm.
love what I do. I love the travel thing. I like traveling. If it's for fun things to do. And I really want to keep writing. I've been writing. I have a friend that I write with in Boston, my dear friend Stacy Gruber, who
Mm.
is actually a neuroscientist by day, but she's an amazing songwriter, singer at night.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that for
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she'd be somebody great to talk to behind the resume.
I would I would
She was
love
a
to.
double major. She music majored in music and and she does her bio, her science, and it's like crazy. She's also one of the leading foremost experts on medical marijuana, not a student of it, but she's an authority on it.
Wow.
And but she's this brilliant singer songwriter, and it's really, I mean, so we write a lot together, and so anyway, she's I mean, we're waiting for one of our, I mean, we've been trying to push our songs a lot. And so, whatever, I just want to just keep writing and putting stuff out there. It feels so good to do that music and to do the work. And now we just have to get it out there, which is
Mhm.
not something I've ever been good at. So
Mm.
that's one of my goals for the future.
Do you have any creative blocks?
Hmm.
Like you said, it's hard to put things out.
Yeah,
Why?
I think I'd say my only thing that I'm not great at, putting my stuff out there. And I don't know if it's about a fear of rejection, because we deal with that in show business every day,
Right.
getting rejected.
Right.
But I think it's more of like not knowing the right people to do it, although I don't know if that's an excuse
Mm.
because we get rejected every day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm on all these websites where we put the music out there. I don't care. I'll take all the no's in the world and wait for that one yes. But I'm not sure if that's part of it, but I really want to get our music out there. I really do. It's
Mm.
really important to me because I know we have some good stuff and I know it's timely and I know it's
Yeah.
got great messages in it.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, I'm going to share some with you.
I would love that. I always end with this question. What do you want your legacy to be?
Oh boy. I mean, it's so interesting. I mean, I have a lot of nieces, nephews, godchildren and stuff, and I know that well, I don't know if that's gonna be what like they are really important to me. And I mean, I definitely want my music to be my legacy. I think people would say, I want people to say he was talented but that he was fun and he was
Mhm.
talented. I think like that's even more to me. And I think that people would say that. I mean, I want people to say that I was more fun than anything than, oh God, that seems like such a depressing thing for me to say that. Like, do you mean like that? I want my music to be, that's why I want to really have my music out there. I want to have some like hit songs out there for me
Yeah.
to have left that and make a mark with that. But I feel like my piano playing will be a legacy
Mm.
to leave out there, and like all the people I've gotten to play for. A lot, a few, many people have passed recently, like that have been close, and like maybe like the choreographer Peggy Hickey that just passed,
Yes.
and it's just like,
Yes.
and I loved her and she was so great, but it's so beautiful
Uh-huh.
just to read all of everyone's memory on Facebook that
Mhm.
had an experience with her, that just everybody had just such a loving experience with her, and it's so beautiful to read all those great experiences. And I hope that's when I'm gone in a long time from now, that people will have all those nice things to say about me too. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody had an amazing, great experience with her.
Mhm.
And so that was kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
What a joy to be
Yes.
talking to you. That was like the best.
Did